Hi and welcome to this tutorial about KST, a very fast and user-friendly open source cross-platform 2D plotting tool. This tutorial is a general presentation of KST going over the user interface and most important concepts. So, talking about the user interface, it's a standard Qt application based on toolbars, which you could rearrange to your liking, just as in any other Qt application. And KST will remember these settings for the next time you start. The menus are pretty standard. You will have a file menu to deal with most file-related topics, edit, which is a limited menu for now, view, which allows to view the data loaded in KST, a range menu, which allows you to set the data range which will currently be worked on, create to create various type of objects which KST handles, and a mode menu which allows to toggle between the different interaction modes, which we'll demonstrate just after that. You also have a tools menu which allows to call up the various tools, and finally a settings and help menu. So let's get started using the data wizard to load a bunch of data. So here, choose a file, select some data to load, and I get a number of plots. So to get you started with the terminology, we have here vectors, scalars, matrices, and strings, which are so-called primitives, which is an object which is loaded directly from the data source. If you look at vectors, for instance, you see here the list of vectors we've loaded. We can select two of them, for instance, show the values, hide this here. When you can scroll through the data, you will notice, by the way, how efficient KST handles a very large amount of data with almost 200,000 points of each vector. So vectors are the first type of primitives. You could also have scalars, which are single values, matrices, as the name implies, and strings, where you will see here for file we get some automatic strings. Creation time, header, lines, and so on. So those are primitives. It's very important at this point to realize that KST does not save the data in the .kst file which is produced when you save. This KST file only contains the way you have to work with the data, which vector to load from which file and how to display them. Now let's move on to the interaction types. They're mostly dealt with from this toolbar here. So the default one is X, Y, zoom and scroll mode. So you could just use the mouse here to zoom in onto your data. And you can also use the various keyboard shortcuts, like previous zoom level would be R and maximum zoom would be M. So if I hit R here, it will go back to the stack of zoom levels, and M will bring me to the default zoom, which does an auto scale. But I could also restrict zooming to X only, or even better, toggle here tight zoom, which means, as the gray dots here indicate, that all of the plots are now going to be simultaneously zoomed in. So if I select this area here, you will see that all of the plots zoom in at the same time. I could do the same for the Y only zoom. And finally, another feature I'd like to demonstrate here is the highlight data points feature, where you see this small circle highlighting the next data point. This is and it prints in the toolbar at the bottom of the window the exact coordinates of the point on the curve. Now the other button you have here in this toolbar is the so-called layout mode. It allows you to work with the layout of your plots if you want to rearrange them, for instance like this. you could do pretty much everything you want. You can also do the right mouse button, and you will see here a number of options like raise and lower. You could put a plot on top of another one and so on. Now, this was just a very short introduction to the way you can interact with KST. Please watch the other tutorials to learn more about equations and plugins, the change data file or edit multiple tools, which are very efficient tools to work with large amounts of data and many files, as well as more advanced concepts in other tutorials. Thanks for listening.